Good morning, and thank you for being here on my channel. Today I will be discussing the roles and responsibilities of a special education teacher as shown on my infograph. As I reflect on my philosophy as a special education teacher, I recognize that this role is not limited to instruction alone. It is relational, ethical, collaborative, and rooted in advocacy. Each responsibility builds upon the other, all centered on one purpose: student success. At the core of my role is supporting learning within the school. I believe every student with exceptionalities possesses inherent dignity, potential, and value. Diversity is not something to accommodate reluctantly. It is something to embrace intentionally. Each student brings unique strengths shaped by culture, language, experience, and identity, and those differences enrich our learning communities. Compassion is central to who I am as a teacher. Many students with exceptionalities experience academic frustration or diminished confidence. I want my classroom to be a space where students feel safe, respected, and capable. Through differentiated instruction, accommodations, modifications, and evidence-based interventions, I work to remove barriers so students can meaningfully access grade-level curriculum. Equally important is collaboration. Student success does not occur in isolation, which naturally leads into the broader responsibilities that guide how I practice professionally. While supporting learning is foundational, it must always be grounded in strong legal practice. Special education is built upon civil rights protections, most notably the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. IDEA guarantees students with disability a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. This law shapes every major decision I make, from referral and evaluation to IEP development and progress monitoring. When determining eligibility for services, I must ensure that decisions are data-driven, equitable, and aligned with federal mandates. IDEA reminds me that access to education is not optional. It is a protected right. Closely connected to IDEA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA. FERPA protects the confidentiality of student records and educational information. For me, safeguarding student data is not merely procedural compliance, it is an ethical commitment to trust. Families share deeply personal information with schools, and honoring that trust through discretion and professionalism is essential. Legal responsibilities create the structural framework within which I operate. However, compliance alone is not enough. My decisions must also be guided by ethical principles that shape how I carry out those laws in practice. Beyond legal mandates, my professional practice is anchored in ethical standards. The Council for Exceptional Children's Professional Ethical Principles and Standards, or the CEC, calls educators to maintain high expectations, act with integrity, and prioritize student welfare. Similarly, the Model Code of Ethics for Educators reinforces professional boundaries, accountability, and ethical conduct. These frameworks remind me that ethical teaching requires practical wisdom, balancing objectivity with empathy and policy with compassion. The GCU Professional Dispositions of Learners and the Canyon Center for Character Education academic program competencies further shape my character as an educator. They call me to demonstrate fairness, honesty, humility, perseverance, and reflective practice. These are not abstract ideas. They influence how I communicate with families, how I collaborate with colleagues, and how I advocate for students. Ethical standards guide my decisions internally, but collaboration determines how those decisions are enacted collectively. Collaboration is not optional in special education. It is essential. For me, collaboration means shared ownership of student success. It is not the responsibility of the special education teacher alone, nor is it solely the responsibility of the general education teacher. It is a partnership built on mutual respect, open communication, and shared accountability. Effective collaboration with general education teachers should include consistent co-planning time where we review curriculum standards, analyze student data, and determine appropriate accommodations and instructional strategies before lessons are delivered. In co-teaching models, roles should be clearly defined, whether through parallel teaching, station teaching, or team teaching, so that instruction feels seamless to students rather than fragmented. Students should never feel as though they belong to one teacher more than the other. They belong to the classroom community. Collaboration also requires ongoing communication beyond formal meetings. Quick check-ins, shared data logs, and reflective conversations about what strategies are working ensure instruction remains responsive and fluid. When challenges arise, professional dialogue grounded in student-centered problem solving is essential. Family collaboration is equally important. I believe communication with families should be proactive, not reactive. This includes regular updates on progress, inviting family input before IEP meetings, explaining evaluation results in clear and respectful language, and ensuring families feel empowered rather than intimidated during meetings. Families should feel that their voices carry equal weight in decision-making. Additionally, collaboration extends to related service providers such as speech-language pathologists, occupational therapists, school psychologists, and administrators. A multidisciplinary approach ensures we address academic, behavioral, and social emotional needs holistically. By sharing data ethically under FERPA guidelines and aligning goals across services, we create consistency for the student. Advocacy is the extension of collaboration and ethics into action. As a special education teacher, I serve as both a student advocate and a profession advocate. For students, advocacy means ensuring access to appropriate supports, inclusive environments, and equitable opportunities. It means helping families understand their rights under IDEA and empowering them to participate confidently in educational decisions. Advocacy also requires cultural responsiveness. Students from diverse backgrounds may face additional barriers in identification or service access. I am committed to equity in evaluation, eligibility determination, and service provision. My advocacy is also grounded in my Christian worldview perspective. The GCU statement on the integration of faith and work, one foundation, reminds me that my work is not simply a profession, it is a calling. Through servant leadership, I aim to place students' needs first, model humility, and pursue human flourishing. Human flourishing in a special education means supporting students academically, socially, and emotionally so they can lead meaningful and self-determined lives. Finally, to advocate effectively and collaborate meaningfully, I must remain committed to growth. Students with exceptionalities have diverse and evolving needs. I will continue to engage in professional development, participate in professional learning communities, and remain current with research-based and high-leverage practices. Reflective practice and culturally responsive teaching are lifelong commitments. In conclusion, my role as a special education teacher encompasses supporting learning, upholding legal and ethical standards, collaborating intentionally, and advocating passionately. Diversity, compassion, and collaboration are not peripheral values for me. They are foundational. I am committed to serving students with exceptionalities, with integrity, wisdom, and humility, ensuring that every decision I make promotes access, dignity, and human flourishing. Thank you for viewing my channel.